Shalom, Grand Rising, OCO. What is up, y'all? I am out here on the road, made myself set up before I get moving. Alrighty. Shalom, Grand Rising, OCO, Polito. Welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I am your brother, your Ak. Tu hermano, whatever language you speak. I'm your brother Dayala. Shalom, Grand Rising. You know, I pray that the Most High has protection around those who do His will. I pray that those who are innocent out here, those and also those who, you know, can't help their situations. I pray that the Most High puts His hedge of protection around y'all and just protect y'all, safeguard y'all, you know, from all things. And I mean it. I seriously mean it, because I know it's bad out here, y'all. You know, I get it. And I'm not even just talking about people who are, you know, doing EBT, who benefits from, you know, EBT, government assistance. I'm not even just talking about those who work for the federal government. I'm not just talking about y'all either. You know, I feel for y'all. You know, and of course, you know, my thoughts are with y'all also, right? Y'all are included, you know, in my thoughts, my prayers, but also to people who aren't, you know, a federal worker, or they aren't, you know, receiving government assistance. However, we know that this is a whole trickle-down effect. It's going to affect everybody. And my thoughts are to people right now who are suffering, who cannot help their situation, or situations, you know, especially the babies, the kids, those who cannot just get up and get a job and work, you know, and that's even those who are not children. I'm even talking about adults. There are people out here who are disabled, you know, whether it's physically or mentally. You know, my prayers, my thoughts are with y'all. I do know that those people who are, for the most part, those who are, you know, physically disabled, mentally disabled, fatherless, you know, parentless, shall I say, that are like a part of the system. I do know that majority of them are being taken care of. Those are the people who will be taken care of usually no matter what. I do understand, and I've mentioned this before, that there are people out there who are a part of SNAP EBT who are disabled, and they're still getting their benefits. They may not be getting their full benefits, but they're still getting some benefits. But right now it's just bad, y'all. What is it, like day, I want to say it's like day 40. I know that early last week was the day, the tie for the longest government shutdown, and I believe we're like in day 40 something right now, maybe like day 41, I'm not sure, but this is the longest government shutdown of the United States history. And I don't know, man. I don't know if there's going to be any end in sight. I said it last week. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if this lasts a while. I wouldn't be surprised if this lasts a few more weeks. Hell, maybe even a few more months. I don't believe that they intend on shutting the government down for good, because like I said, these people who run society, who runs this world, they want control. That's what they're all about. They're all about control. And they're not going to relinquish that control, because if society fully collapses, they lose control. They lose control. And I know that we talk about this often, people who talk about these sorts of subjects, we talk about full collapse. And that's not what they want. Don't mean that, certain events like martial law it doesn't mean that those aren't going to happen, or that they cannot happen, or they will not allow these things to happen. Because martial law is not full collapse. Essentially what martial law is, for people who really don't know, is that martial law is essentially, the military taking over, saying, hey, we're standing in as acting government until now. So they're going to replace your police officers. They will replace, the judges. You will not have democracy, essentially. It will go into like a militaristic government. They will implement certain rules, and of course, mind you, this will be under the federal government. So the federal government, essentially, the federal government will take over and will essentially relieve, the judicial branch, and even like your local, your local government. They will relieve them of their duties and essentially step in and assume their roles, right? And they will enact certain policies and laws that will restrict people from doing certain things. Like travel will be one of the main things that they will restrict, because essentially they will be putting things on lockdown. So kind of like how the lockdowns were during not 9/11, COVID. That's essentially how, if martial law were to happen. Damn it, I want to run this fucking red light. Hate to do it, but that's essentially how they will be treating. Sorry, I had to run the red light. It was wet out here. I tried, but I would have been in the middle of the intersection had I just come to a stop. But anyways, my eyes messing with me. Yeah, but like I was saying, during COVID, when we had those lockdowns, that's essentially what they would be doing if we had martial law. If they had to enact martial law, we would be locked down. They would roll out the military into most of your major cities, maybe I believe even your small towns too. But yeah, that's essentially what they would do. A lot of people fear that they will corral people and move them into city centers. So like your small towns, villages, suburbs, your little small country towns. A lot of people believe that the government, the military will, round people up and move them into these city centers. And I do believe that that's something that they would do also. They don't want people to be out and about and free. It's all about control, guys. It's all about control. Anyone who believes that this government is set up, that the people run the government, that people rule the government, then you're delusional. Just look how this government has been operating since its inception, especially in the past, let's say 50, 60 years, the power is not in the hands of the people, which is the lie that they've been selling us for the longest. It's not. We see it all the time that our government officials do shit that we don't want them to do. They do it all the time. They do stuff that we do not want them to do. They do things opposite of the people's wishes. They think that we want to be at war with all these other countries. And this is why I got to get people who live outside of the United States to understand. But also I have to get people in the United States to understand this, because this is a universal concept when it comes to the average person. The average person doesn't want to be in war. See, our media are the lackeys of the government, right? They work hand in hand with the government. And essentially, they paint this narrative. The government is always going to point their fingers at the other person. See, I don't get into the whole, left versus right paradigm, because they're all the same. They're two different wings of the same bird, right? It takes two wings for a bird to fly, right? The bird itself is the United States government. The one wing, the left wing, is one side. The right wing is the other side, right? And in order for that bird or the government to fly, you have to have both wings. And both of those wings prop up the government. So the entire government is the issue. It's not just one side, guys. But they use that to have you guys confused and saying, oh, it's one person's fault over the other person's fault, when really, truly, it's all of their faults, and they're all playing the blame game to keep you guys chasing your tails. That's all they're doing, guys. So stop buying into the left versus the right, right? But overall, all people want is just peace. We want peace, security, There's more than enough resources in this world to provide for every single human being, plus more. But the reason why we don't have that is because we have people who are truly fucking evil. Some of these people aren't even fully human, and they're the ones who rule the world, and they're the ones who cause chaos, right? The average person don't want chaos, but then they teach their evil ways to us and say, hey, this is the right way of thinking. Capitalism is a great way of living. When really it's not. Capitalism is nothing more than greed and evil. That's all it is greed and evil. There's nothing good about capitalism at all. And I'm not saying that because I'm a damn socialist or anything like, that's what they like to say, oh, you socialist, what was the other, what do they like calling people? They like calling people all types of fucking names. There is more than enough to where there shouldn't be any need for greed. There shouldn't be any need for depravity, to deprive people of resources, because we have more than enough. More than enough. And I'm talking about in all resources, more than enough. So it's just like, why? Why do we need to capitalize on shit? Why do we need to be like, okay, I'm gonna get as much as I can, as cheap as I can, as easily as I can, as quick as I can? Why? We know that that's not good, even when it comes to a person's physical health. If you consume too much, it's not good for you. Have y'all ever noticed that rich people are not happy with just only being rich? They always got to keep trying to get richer and richer and richer. It's a fucking disease. It's a disease mindset, man. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, the average person wants peace. The average person wants peace. But what they do is our media and our governments do a good job at painting this narrative that the other person that doesn't look like us, that has a different culture or slightly different culture than us, that looks different, that lives in a different region of the world, that they don't like us and that they hate us. Oh, be afraid of the communist Chinese. That's another thing they like to call people, socialists or commies and all this shit, right? All those Chinese people, they hate you, and they want America to be like China, so on and so forth. No, it's the fucking leadership. When you listen to the average person over in China, they just want the basics of life, right? They just want the basics of life. That's every fucking person. And the basics of life is to be able to have a shelter, to have transportation, to have food, clothing, to have the necessary tools and utilities to provide the comforts of life. The average person don't want to be filthy rich. They don't. If you ask a person today, do they want to be filthy rich? The average person will tell you no, but if they say yes, it's because they need things to cover their basic needs. They may be in debt. It may be this and that going on. So they're like, yeah, if I had $1 million or if I had $5 million, it would set me up nice, right? Because really what they're searching for at the end of the day is what they need to just make sure that they are living, right? The average person don't want to be a millionaire so they can buy, Lamborghinis and shit like that. No, they want to make sure that they're taken care of and their family is taken care of. If all the wealth in the world wasn't hoarded by the less than 1%, the average person, every person in this world could be millionaires, but they don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen because they're evil and they're greedy. I mean, literally, think about this. There is like 6 to 7 billion people? 6 to 7 billion people. And you know how much money in the world is circulating? Not even trillions. More than trillions. Way more than $1 trillion. Hell, the government, the United States government alone be burning trillions of dollars every year. Right? So, let's just say sextillion, right? That's how much money is in circulation. Is like $500 sextillion, right? So instead of trillion, we're just gonna say double that, right? That's more than enough money for every person in this world to be a millionaire. But we don't want it to be that easy. We want to just hoard all the money and all the wealth. That's because these people are truly evil. We have to realize that what rules the world, the scripture tells you, the world is given into the hands of the wicked. They are the ones who rule the world, and I don't just mean people, because we also know that also scripture says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but rulers of darkness, principalities, right, in high places. And I know I butchered that, but y'all know what scriptures I'm talking about. These are the ones who rule the world. They rule the world. So and we have to realize that these are entities. These are not humans. Yes, they may have hybrid/demon or hybrid/son of gods. Humans running around in the physical, but those people, those half-breed demons and the humans, the full humans that follow them, they are led by these damn entities, right? But yeah, man, shit. Nobody wants this shit. Nobody wants this chaos. There's no reason for people to be going without at all. There's no reason. There's no reason. And it's sad. I mean, it really is. I feel bad for the kids right now who are going without food. And if this government shutdown continues, and it's snowing heavily out here, man, it is snowing heavily out here, y'all. Yeah, this is like the earliest snow we've gotten in years, man. I'm about to go on a little tangent, just for a little bit about weather. And then actually, I have something to talk about with the weather, right? Later on in this video. But yeah, when I was a kid back in the 90s, we used to get snow in November. It was like a normal thing. Then, probably for about like almost 20 years, we've had very warm, very mild winters to where we wouldn't get too much snow. We we didn't get snow in November and stuff like that. But now over the past, I want to say past 3 years, we've been getting snow in November. Mind you, just 2 weeks ago, we was like 2 weeks ago we was in the 70s. It's crazy how fast weather can just switch. Because like I said, just 2 weeks ago, we were in the 70s. Now we're down to 30s. You have to be down to 30s to get snow. Yeah, man, it's crazy how weather can just switch on a dime. But I'm hoping, I seen that the area that I'm going to today is supposed to be getting anywhere between 2 to 4 inches, which is not terrible. It's still dangerous weather to drive around in. I can imagine all the people who are at home resting right now that are going to be in accidents later on today, man. Man, it's terrible. Man. Condolences to the guy down in Dayton, Ohio, who passed away this past Friday, man. He was freaking killed, or I think it was Thursday. It was either Thursday or Friday. Killed by an Amazon driver that wasn't fucking paying attention, man. Ran into the back of his work van in a semi-truck and turned that damn van into the tin can. Crazy, man. That's why I try my best to get the rest I need and pull over. Like, I don't give a fuck what your company is saying. If you're tired, pull over and take a fucking nap, man. Pull the fuck over. Even if you're at the side of the highway, pull over, man. Because sometimes trying to make it to that off-ramp that's in the next few miles, or even to that truck stop in the next few miles, or even a rest stop in the next few miles, may be a little too far away and may be a little too late. Because I felt with, I dealt with, I said felt with, because I was about to fight and dealt, but I've dealt with sleep fatigue before. I really don't suffer with it too much lately because I've gotten so used to being to operating on very little sleep. Or just being in the truck for a long time, because everybody gets fatigued, right? But you have people out here who may not get the rest they need, and they're dealing with fatigue heavily. And you can literally be awake 1 second, and then the next second, as soon as your mind, and it can have very little to do with your actual amount of sleep. I do want to say that, because you can literally be well rested, get in these trucks and drive for about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and if your mind is no longer active, you can start to get sleepy. You can start to drift off, and all it takes is just a second. That's all it takes is just a second, and you're crashing up in something, all right? So my advice to truck drivers out there is keep your mind active. Do something that stimulates you, If that's putting on the damn podcast in the background, because you need something to really make you think. Like, to make you think, keep your mind active. Hell, sometimes if shit don't work for me and I'm really fatigued, right? What I would do is I'll play music real loud. Play music real loud. I'm telling you. Get yourself like a little speaker. I have a miniature speaker, a little mini USB speaker, and play music real loud. If you listen to, hip hop or rock, both of those will suffice. I will say rock is probably even better because rock is very chaotic, right? And I'm one of those Negroes. I listen to rock music. I don't listen to like rock from anything from today. But when I grew up in the '90s, I listened to rock. My brother was into rock very heavily. My older brother was into rock pretty heavy when we were younger. Because we actually went to white schools when we were real young. We went to schools with white folks, and they listen to rock. They even listen to hip hop too. But I listen to Linkin Park. That's my favorite rock band. Linkin Park. Green Day, Fall Out Boys. So on and so forth, man. And that music from let's say 1998 all the way up to 2005, I honestly feel like that was a golden era of rock. All different type of genres of rock, like new metal, rap metal, all that different stuff. Especially ones that was like more hip hop element. Linkin Park, they had a rapper. There was a lot of bands back then that actually had rappers in there, and not just any other rapper, but rappers that could rap. Like Mike Shinoda, he can actually rap. He actually did a collab with Jay-Z. I want to say back in like 2005, 2004, something like that. I want to say 2004. I think was when he had that collab. But anyways, yeah, play that music and it'll wake you up. It'll keep you awake, keep you wired, and make sure you bobbing your head and jam it, because that stimulates you. That stimulates you, man. Make sure you're looking around, looking at your mirrors. Bob your head. It's going to stimulate you. Trust me. You're still going to feel tired, but it's going to keep your mind from drifting off to sleep. Like, you're still, I'm going to tell you, even if you're dead tired, you're going to still feel tired, but it's going to keep you from falling asleep when you're listening to music real loud and you're jamming out. Even repeat the lyrics if you play songs where you know the lyrics, right? I remember some years back, I want to say when I was first trucking, brother in Yarka, I was listening to his music and it had me jamming out, man. I learned his song, what is this name of the song? I don't want to start saying it. Speak Life, Speak Life. I learned that song from front to back in one day because they got the snow truck, the plows out and stuff, the salt trucks. I learned that in one day. Why? Because I was fatigued, I was tired, and that shit kept me awake. I was like, I'm gonna learn this song, and I kept repeating it, right? But anyways, get back to what I was saying, right? Yeah, man. These people don't want to relinquish control, man. They don't. I do believe, like I said in other videos, that they are going to try to cause instability, if anything. Instability. I don't think they want to relinquish full control. Sure, martial law, stuff like that may happen. If civil unrest happens, they're going to enact martial law. But that's to have more control over people. To be more of like a authoritarian state. And, they have so many drones in the sky, guys. Oh, it's beautiful out here. I'm looking at these trees, looking at these homes over here with snow tops on top of the trees and the houses. It looks like a Christmas movie, like Home Alone or something like that. But anyways, it was funny because I was watching, and this is another side thing, right? I want to get back to what I'm saying. So I watched football, right? And somebody was hating on Ohio State, and they was talking shit about the state of Ohio. Like, oh, you're going to be gloomy for the next 6 months. I'm like, what are you talking about gloomy for the next 6 months? Like, winter is beautiful, and we don't have winter for 6 months. What are you talking about? We usually only have, like, snow. We'll usually get snow within 3 months. But not every day do we have snow. Not every day is gloomy. There's actually days in winter in Ohio where we're like in the 60s. And there's days where it's warm and sunny, and there's days where it's cold and sunny in the wintertime. So it's not, I don't know where people, I was like, you must not be from Ohio because it is not cold and gloomy for 6 months in Ohio. Like, that's all wrong. But anyways, winter is beautiful. Man, I know people be talking shit about winter, especially people who live in Ohio and stuff like that. Like, oh man, I want to go somewhere warm. I'll tell you, I lived in places where it's warm, right? And it's boring. Like, I couldn't live. I'm sorry, everybody has their own taste, but I could not live. If I lived, okay, I'm not gonna say cannot live, but if I lived in places like LA, Southern California, if I lived in places like Louisiana, Florida, like Southern Florida, Southern Louisiana, it would just be too boring for me, man. It would. There's so much to do in the winter. Like, some people have never went sledding in their life. Some people have never went skiing in their life. You You can do that shit in Ohio. You can go skiing. You know what I'm saying? We have ski resorts here. Because contrary to popular belief, we actually have hills and small mountains here in Ohio that you can go skiing on. You know, so we have those here in Ohio. Hell, sledding, all of that stuff, ice skating, like these are only things you can do. I mean, you can do so many things in other states, right? You know, because other states do get like there's other states like even like I used to live in North Carolina. We used to get snow down there, and they're actually getting snow down there today. Well, yeah, places like North Carolina, even places in the South. You know, North Carolina, Alabama, even parts of Louisiana at times, Georgia, South Carolina, Arkansas, all the places that get snow too. You know, hell, sometimes they get more snow than we do. Like North Carolina, today is predicted to get more snow than us. But North Carolina is like, what, 3 states away? Not that far. Like North Carolina is literally like a 5-hour drive from here. Or less than a 5-hour drive from Columbus, Ohio. And if you live in Cincinnati, it's more like a 3.5 to 4-hour drive, you know? So not that far, so I can understand, but whatever. But anyways, let me go back to what I was talking about. So, with the martial law thing, I think that they're going to do that to try to corral people, to get them into the cities, because they don't want people being out and about, you know, free, you know, bugging out. That's not what they want. They want complete, total control, right? And this is why they got so many drones up in the sky. This is why they got so many drones up there. There are literally thousands of drones in our skies. And these things are watching us 24 fucking 7. If you ever go outside late at night and you're like near like a major city, you will see these drones in the sky. You will see them in the sky. It's hard to see them during the daytime. They're there. But you can mostly see them at night. You don't see them with their lights blinking. If you look at these what you think are like planes or helicopters up in the sky, and you see 2 white blinking lights, those are drones. Those are drones. The difference in how you can tell the difference between a manned aircraft and an unmanned aircraft are the lights. You know, my wife is in aviation. You know, she's in the aviation field, and so is our friend. You know, and one thing that I learned about planes is that there is the captain, and then there is what is his name? First, what's his name? First something, right? And he's like the co-pilot, and you know, one side blinks for the pilot. Like I believe the white side is the pilot, and the red side is the co-pilot. So it shows which side of the plane, you know, you're looking at. You know that you're looking at, right? So that's why they have, if you see planes, you see a red light blinking and a white light blinking, you know that is a manned aircraft. If you see 2 white lights blinking or not blinking, you know that is a drone. And I see lots of them up in the skies, right? So, yeah, they're out here, you guys. And I believe they're going to be using them in the future to track people down. You know, so it's like you're going to get, man, you know, years ago, I would say 10 years ago, I used to think that was going to be so easy, just bugging out. But I don't think so anymore. I think they're going to make it much harder. And I know that people are like, you know, well, if they start enacting martial law and they're like killing people and doing all this evil stuff, people are not going to stand for it. And I agree. I think most of our military aren't going to stand for it, and that they will start to break rank. I do believe that, because they're going to be like, hey, I got family. Why are we doing this to our own people? Our own American citizens. Somebody's probably doing this to my family member right now. No, I got to go and get to my family. But this is why they have advanced technology in the way that they have. Because they know that this is going to happen. This is why they've been rapidly developing AI and also robotics. Because they know that humans, the average human has a conscience. And they're not going to stand for it. But robots and AI, they're not going to have a conscience. No matter what the hell these developers are telling you, these motherfuckers, they don't have a conscience. They're programmers. At best, I mean, not at best, but at the very least, they're programmers. Yeah, they could very well be evil entities. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that they're planning on using that shit against us. They ain't planning on using that to help us. So yeah, it's gonna be chaotic in the future. But I'm not telling people to fear or anything. Like, you gotta improvise. You gotta be smarter than that, you know. So, like, say if you're bugging out, you can't have these big old giant bonfires. I don't think a big bonfire in a bug out situation is smart, anyways. You're gonna have to operate a little bit differently, you know. I'm sure these drones, they're probably equipped with, you know, heat detection technology, things like that will allow them to see, you know, the body heat of humans. Because I mean, hell, they already got helicopters equipped with that technology where you can, in aircraft, that you can literally see, you know, body heat from, you know, several hundred to several thousand feet up in the sky, you know. I'm gonna say probably several hundred feet from up in the sky, so several thousand, you're up there with the planes. But I can imagine that they can see that stuff, those drones. So it's gonna be kind of very hard to, you know, to try to escape that stuff. There's ways that you can go about doing it, you know, that you can escape detection. But yeah, man, you know, when it comes to everything that's going on right now, it's all being done for a reason. It's all to cause instability. You know, y'all think the situation that happened in Jamaica is just by chance? I don't believe that hurricane was natural. I mean, Jamaica is in destitute right now, and you know, the truly innocent people that are there in Jamaica, man. You know, I hope and pray that the Most High does protect y'all. And then all those ones who are just coming out just hating on us American blacks, if you will, fuck all y'all. You know, fuck all y'all. Y'all all evil anyways. It's like they just couldn't wait to just start talking shit about us. Like, we're not your problem. Y'all be ass kissing the white folks down there. Like, it's crazy, man. It's not all Caribbean folks, but I've been on a shit ton of cruises. I've been to many Caribbean countries. And I'm telling you, the way they treat white folks is differently than how they treat black folks. They treat white folks much better, man. It's crazy. And then even these little videos lately, they've been talking about how they're, how they like white folks better than us anyways, all this shit. First of all, we don't care. Secondly, that sounds like a you problem. What? Problem, you know what I'm saying? Y'all like white folks more than us. Okay, so that's actually an issue. That's a problem, because y'all means y'all hate yourselves more than y'all love. Y'all hate yourselves and love white folks. You know, it's crazy, man. It's some internal bullshit that they got going on. Those fucking sellouts down there in Jamaica. But But yeah, anyways, that situation that's going on in Jamaica is happening for a reason. Why? We just seen that, what was like a year or two ago, where the Jamaican prime minister was talking about how, you know, they're implementing digital currency, and I believe Jamaica was trying to be the first country to do that, to where they go completely cashless. Well, how can you get people to buy into it? Because there was a little bit of pushback from the Jamaican people. How you can get people to buy into something when they're resisting it is by putting them into a desperate situation, right? What am I talking about? Well, Jamaica has just went through a very devastating hurricane, natural disaster. Now the government has the opportunity, because we know how they function, chaos out of order. Now, since there is destitute down there and people are desperate for anything, now they're like, okay, well, we can now get rid of the cash, and in order for you guys to get this food, in order for you guys to get this aid, this help, you have to now use digital currency to get this help, to buy these goods. We're gonna roll out and give, let's just say, we're just gonna use American money just for this example, because I don't know what the hell they use over there in Jamaica. But let's say the government says, okay, well, we have all this food, we have all this stuff for the Jamaican people. However, it costs 100 digital Jamaican dollars, right? It costs X amount of Jamaican dollars just to get this food. Okay, we're going to give you guys 500 Jamaican digital dollars. That's the only way you can get this stuff. This is how you get people to buy into the system. And now you got rid of the fiscal cash completely. So now that's crazy, man. I believe that they're going to use this opportunity to do that. It's perfect. It's perfect for it. And we know that this is how they operate. This is how they operate. So yeah, man. It's going to be bad, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be bad out here. Very soon. Not just only for Jamaica, but for the entire world. And hell, they may use this situation to enact the U.S. digital dollar, right? Instead of it being a natural disaster, they may make it an economic disaster. You know, that's going to cause people to buy into this whole digital system, economic system. Man, it's gonna be bad, man. But as we see Trump, so I saw in the news that certain states will be rolling out full government benefits come today. However, Trump reversed it, just like all the other things he reversed. He told states not to do it, to reverse that whole damn thing, man. So yeah, yep. People who got their benefits turned off and hoping that it will come back this Monday, they will not be getting it, which is crazy, man. I really hope that people have went to pantries. I hope that people stocked up. See, this is what I was talking about, y'all. See, you have people out there telling people not to prep. And those people who didn't prep, who listened to these people who told you not to prep, and now you're in a bad way, you see what they did to y'all? Because they had this false confidence that, you know, everything was going to be all right, or whatever the hell their train of thought was. They got you on a bad way. I hope y'all never listen to those people again, because now look at y'all. Y'all are in a desperate situation. Y'all are in a bad situation. I hope that now you guys stock up. Stock up. Stock up on the stuff that y'all need, man, if y'all can. But all these people out here listening to these YouTubers and social media personalities telling, like, oh, you don't need to stock up. If you stock up, you don't have faith and all this stuff. That's bullshit. Like I've said many times before, prepping is actually biblical. It is biblical. It's biblical. And I'm sure those people who listen to these people who's like, yeah, I got faith, I ain't gonna stock up. Faith is listening and believing what you're being told. That's faith. Faith isn't just like, oh well, I'm just gonna sit here and just without any sign, just not do anything. That's not having faith. Like, oh well, even though the Bible tells me to prepare myself for trying times, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to just chill and relax and just hope that stuff falls out of the sky for me. That's not how it works, guys. That's not how it works. That's not how faith works. But I'm sure those people are very salty right now. Like, damn, man, I stocked up food and all this stuff, especially if you got kids involved. Yeah, I know y'all really sick right now. But yeah, man, if y'all can, stock up because, me and my wife were talking the other day. We think that this may be the last chance for people to stock up. I think once when shit gets bad, because stores are hurting too. They're hurting too. They're going to have to drive the prices up and even close down more locations. Hell, Kroger and a lot of these big chains, Walmarts and stuff like that, they've been closing many locations over the past year or two. Closing down hundreds of locations. Family Dollar has been doing that. Dollar Tree has been doing that. Walmart, Kroger, Meijer, China Eagle, all these different Safeway, all these different food places, Food Lion, they all been closing down locations. So pretty soon it's going to be bad for everybody, man. Pretty soon they're going to start closing down everything, and people are going to be sick, man. People are going to be sick, so I think this is the last time. It's going to get much harder to even buy food, let alone save food. It's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. So it's like, you can right now, start doing it. My wife and I, we literally just Mylar'd some food yesterday, man. Man, it don't have to be a certain type. You can Mylar anything. You can Mylar rice, beans, hell, burritos, tacos, shells, seasonings, stuff like that. So much stuff that you can Mylar. So many things you can do. Anyways, I'm pulling up to get some fuel. Oh shit. It's closed. Guess I'm just doing this one. Trying to straighten myself up a little better. It's not too late now. It may be too late for some people. For others, it may not be too late. If it's not too late for you, I would get prepping. I'll get your preps in order, man. That's why I've been saying this for years, because it's not just prepping. It's not prepping because you're scared, because I don't prep out of fear. I prep out of preparedness. But it's not about not about prepping out of fear. It's about being ready, man, because you got children to take care of. You got children to take care of. You don't want to see your children starve. You don't want to see them go through those issues. Buy food, buy medicine, buy stuff that's going to help aid and protect you. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I will talk to you later. Peace out. Shalom. May God of Israel bless all those who do his will.